Hey everyone, the time is here. The big news that you've been waiting for. The big news that I've been waiting for. I'm going through hiking. Woo! It's been a year, that's for sure. Things have changed. The thing about my plans is they're never real concrete plans. They're plans that could be changed because they're ideas that get replaced by other ideas, get replaced by other ideas. But this has been a year for sure. I was going to get on the AT and then go from there to a thru hike that I created that takes you through the southbound 6K challenge, which is 46,000 footers in the North Carolina and Tennessee area. And I made a thru hike out of that I was going to take on and then go out to the Blue Mountain Trail in Oregon for my third one of the year. Things have changed so much. When I got on the AT, I got off, I got injured, not injured, but I ended up getting an infected foot. Then I ended up having quite a bit of medical stuff go on through the doctors, testing and all that. So held off on that. And by the time I was done with that and doing what I was going to be doing out west and with the southbound 6K, I decided to just hold off on the AT for this year and not do any more than what I'd already done. Unless I was going to do something spontaneously come July in a southbound. So, things have changed. Damage from Helene is still out there. I can't even get on the trails to do the southbound 6K this year through about at least 75 to 100 miles of that trail I would not be able to do this year. So I've decided that I have to hold off on that until, who knows, it still might happen. It might happen in fall, which would be epic, because in fall, when all the colors are changing, would be an epic time to go through those mountain summits and the trails connecting them. So who knows? So the Blue Mountain Trail, if this is your first time hearing about this, is a brand new one that's out there. It's only been around since 2021, I believe. A connection of several different national forests and different types of trails that connects the whole Blue Mountain range. 530 miles is the length of that trail, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But just been all over the place with different things. So I thought, well, maybe I could go southbound on the AT. Maybe I'll do the long trail and throw in a couple other, 200, 300 milers, because I still have to have my miles each year. Well, so many things have happened and so many things have changed that it looked like the Blue Mountain Trail wasn't going to happen this year, just from some logistics. And I was going to do part of the PCT while I was out there, kind of kill two birds with one stone. And just some things happened that it looked like that wasn't going to happen. Literally was thrown around some other options like the southbound on the AT, but I don't really want to do southbound on the AT until I do my yo-yo-yo. I will do a yo-yo-yo someday, which means I'm going to go from one end of the AT to the other 3 times in 1 year. That's the kicker. It has to be in 1 year for me. This is the challenge I'm giving myself, and it has to be all connected. So I'm not going to do part of this and come down here and do this and go back to get around winter. The timing will have to be perfect and impeccable. I have a huge plan for that, but it's going to be a spontaneous one when I do it. And I didn't want to do that this year because of the big plans of next year and what is potentially going to happen with CDT. Maybe not. We'll see. But anyway, the decision has been made. But not only the decision being made, I am leaving within a week to do these 2 trails for my thru hikes coming up out west. Let's talk about it. So in 2022, I started my thru hiking journey, my career, my future, the thing that I've become that rebirthed me. But I started in 2022 on the PCT, the Pacific Crest Trail, which goes from California at the border, the Mexican border, all the way to Washington and the Canadian border. So from the Mexico-California border all the way to Washington, 2,600 miles. And it was one of the most epic things that could ever happen to me, I could imagine. I almost I almost died on day one. We'll start off with that. Stomach flu that turned into severe dehydration, had to be rescued from the desert, rushed to the hospital where my organs had started to shut down because of the severe dehydration. I could barely move without the help of people wheeling me or picking me up and putting me in a vehicle. It had gotten pretty bad. Fast forwarding, that led to osteoporosis. Fast forwarding went another 100 days after that. It was one of tenacity, one in which I found out who I really was. It's always been very special to me, the PCT, and there has been plans to go back and finish up, because what also happened at the end of that is there were some miles I could not do because they were shut down with fire. It was actually one of the worst years on the PCT for wildfires, which is every year. But so many areas were shut down throughout Northern California, Oregon, and Washington. I did everything I could do, but there was some that was not able to be done. Fast forwarding to 2 years ago on my first Appalachian Trail trip, I had plans of, after finishing the AT, going and doing those remaining miles and finishing that up afterwards. Injury happened. I could have went. However, I had a personal obligation, and we'll leave it right there. We won't talk about what that personal obligation was, but I did have a personal obligation that had to be taken care of, and so it became a timing issue. I didn't have enough time, and the one thing about the PCT in the north especially, you have a window that you can do it in before the weather just gets way too bad in the North Cascades and so forth, so you can't do that. So, fast forward to last year. I was going to do the same thing. After the Appalachian Trail, my second through hike of the Appalachian Trail, I was going to go out there and finish those miles up, do 1,000 miles on the PCT, more than what I needed, but just make a good time of it logistically. Then I got hit with Lyme, so that took me down for about 2 months before going back and finishing the rest of the AT. But again, that was in September 16th. When I finished, I did not have enough time, because you need to be out of the PCT no later than October to out of Washington at least, to not get hit with the bad weather, the weather that could be very fatal, we'll put it that way. So fast forwarding to this year, the Blue Mountain Trail is definitely going to be done while I'm out there, but I am also going to do the PCT, a little bit of Northern California, a couple 100 miles, another 100 or so in Oregon that I need to do, and then there's a 50-mile section in Oregon close to the Sisters, from Willamette Pass to Santiam Pass, which is where the lava rocks are. You have the Three Sisters there. Beautiful, beautiful area, but all those were closed down with fire. I could not get to those. Sorry, I'm itching. There's something in the grass here, I guess. But then, and I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to do that section, and then I'm going to get into Bend, Oregon, in which I am going to get a ride with a hiking group that is going over to the Strawberry Mountains. The Strawberry Mountains are the Blue Mountain Group, or the Blue Mountain Group. Oh my goodness, I almost said the Blue Mountain Group, like the musicians. Wow, that's funny. The Blue Mountain Trail. This goes from east to west or west to east, but it's not really east to west. It kind of goes like this. If you go east to west or west to east, that probably look reversed in the camera. But I am going from west to east just because this hiking group is going over there, and it's such a remote area, hard to get a ride. And especially since I'm coming to the west side of the PNW, this helps me get out there. I will then do that 530 miles of the Blue Mountain Trail. I will then get off and get another ride / shuttle over to White's Pass. White's Pass is the PCT, big ski lodge, right where Mount Rainier is. That is where I left off in Washington, the last 350-ish miles of the PCT. The roughest of the PCT, especially what they call Section K, where there's hundreds of blowdowns. There's a really loud siren. I hope that's not interfering too much with the video. But 350 miles of the PCT, Section K is about 112 of that. Big snowfields, glacier wilderness. It's a rough area, and that will be the last section I do. So the reason I'm doing this is because I will be flying into the west side of those states. I'm going to do that 350 miles or so, and then go do the 530 of the Blue Mountain Trail and then come back to the west side so that when I'm done, I'm right there at Seattle or Portland, either one. Very easy access to get to the airports to fly back home. All in all, it'll be 1,200 miles. I'm leaving and starting here within about a week. Stay tuned, because it's going to be monumental. The views of Northern California, Southern Oregon, through the Sisters, and the Blue Mountain Trail. Oh, wow, that's just... So the Blue Mountain Trail starts at John Day, where I'll be starting, goes over to Strawberry Mountains and the Elkhorn Mountains. You end up working your way to Hell's Canyon, which I'll talk more about that when I'm actually doing the hike, and then you end up in the Llamas to end it. The Llamas are like the Alps of Oregon. They're just absolutely magnificent. The Elkhorns, the Strawberries, they're just magnificent. So many different types of terrain and atmosphere and views that I'm going to be dealing with. I'm going to be dealing with the desert, with forest, with just beautiful, beautiful sections of forest and lakes and rivers and creeks and huge mountains. It's going to be epic. And then I get to go to the North Cascades to end the PCT through arguably the most beautiful part of the PCT. I've been waiting since 2022 to finish this, and the time is here. The time is here to conquer, the time is here to win, and to finish off the miles of the PCT that I need to finish off, and to go Blue Mountain Trail and be one of the first ever to through hike it. Keep tuned and stay alert and ready for those videos when they start hitting those daily videos, because it's going to be a good one. Live life, everyone.